Well, hello everybody, and welcome to this session, which is about Hinkley Point. So, my name is Ben Wallbank. I'm the BIM Strategy and Partnerships Manager for Trimble in EMEA. I'm old. I've been working in the industry for more decades than I would like to think. And I've been talking about integration and integrated workflows for all of that time. The difference now, and we've just seen a fantastic example of that in the last presentation, the difference now is that these integrations are finally starting to work. Now, these are challenges for us as individual companies. So Trimble is a 12,000 strong, 147 country, huge monolith that works in transport and agriculture, construction, satellites, and geospatial stuff, so a widespread thing. And these are issues for us as much as they are for you. How do we start to integrate and do these things? So today I'm going to look at a specific project at Hinkley Point, a £36 billion project on the north coast of Somerset, a new nuclear power station, which will shortly be followed on by Sizewell, another duplicate almost of the Hinkley project, with, it looks very likely, the same teams. So I'm just very quickly going to show a brief video, because I think it's important you get a flavour from the people actually doing the job of what this is and just how big it is. So I've got a very brief video, a couple of minutes, as an introduction to the project. What I would say is if you do a search on YouTube, the longer version, which is about half an hour, going into far more detail of what these kind of integrations are offer, is out there. So look at it later if you're interested. I'm then going to spend, so this is a total of 15 minutes, really fast. I'm then going to spend a few minutes actually talking about what this means for a technology developer, for Trimble, and what we're trying to do and what we're going to do in future to make this kind of thing work and to make this kind of thing easier, and some of the lessons that we've been learning at Hinkley as well. So I'll finish off with that, but I'm going to start off with this, so forgive the brief video. We're at Hinkley Point at the new C reactor. Nothing quite prepares you for the scale of this project. This is just huge. It's complex, it's enormous. And we've been granted access today to the site and to some of the key players.
Hinkley Point C is the first nuclear power station to be built in the UK for a generation. It's one of the largest and most complex projects in Europe because we are building two identical nuclear reactors concurrently. For a project of this scale, you'll never be able to do anything with paper, and we officially started using FieldView in 2017.
The project has used Tekla to design everything that we do here on the project. And one of the things that's mind-blowing about Hinkley is the range of scale. We use the same detailing approach from a 1 cubic metre pour in the corner of a building to the UK's 2 largest ever onshore continuous concrete pours. Sometimes as the civils builders, we have to remind ourselves that we're just a small cog in the massive machine that is a nuclear power plant. So one of the main factors for that civils design is coordinating it with all the other parts. And it's only by looking in that 3D model that we can see how it all fits together. We chose early on to use IFC, and that's really proven to give us great flexibility to adapt as the industry adapts around us and as we develop. And by working with IFC, where the information is issued and frozen and controlled, and we can tell who's made it, we can demonstrate that degree of control that we need to deliver nuclear quality.
Our workforce use Trimble Connect to understand the very complex design we have here. Sort of design that's difficult to convey with traditional 2D drawings, by giving the workforce the ability to view 3D models out in the field as they are doing the work.
The API from FieldView allows us to pull the information that's being filled in the field up to every 10 minutes and deliver that straight to dashboards that our senior leadership and our client are looking at sat up in the office.
So that gives you a very, very quick flavour for what this project is. And these are, I guess, issues which are spread wide actually throughout the industry. How do we get everything to work together? How does one process flow into another? Now we've got at Trimble, we've got a sort of mantra which is Trimble Construction One, which is really, I guess, looking at our own product and how we begin to get the workflows to work between those. But we also have this thing about connected construction, which is really that wider issue. No single vendor is going to solve all of your problems. You should be able to use whatever is best for a particular job for you. And this means that kind of matrix of softwares that you saw in the last presentation. You saw some Trimble ones there and lots of others as well. That will always be the case. So it's very much using those open formats like IFC, like BCF, is a huge part of what is going to make this work for everybody. And remember, on something like a nuclear power station, working with something like IFC, which gives you longevity in your information, is also really important. So you're never going to be able to open an old version of, frankly, anybody's software that's 20 years old, and they need to be able to do that. So the other thing I would like to say, so now I'm going on really to more about, the challenges for everybody on our side. So we've had a partnership now with Microsoft for a few years, which is growing, and we are a favored partner in terms of the construction industry. So all of those silos that we're used to in construction exist actually pretty much everywhere, even in those big players. So partnering with a major player at that higher level of software is vitally important to us to begin to solve actually how do we provide you as a user, as a client, with control over your data. One particular item of data may have a completely different set of security needs to another piece of data. How do we start to do that? So in the background, there is a huge amount of work going on with us trying to figure that out for ourselves. So I'm just going to look now at that workflow you saw, that discussed by the bylaw, fantastic bylaw. Incidentally, one of the reasons they've solved this is that they're all, everybody you meet down there has a master's degree in something. They're all really, really clever. And that has really helped, I think, in the fact that they're beginning to solve it. And also it's a huge project, so you can do stuff that you can't do on the smaller ones, which is great for us because they begin to show us the things that we can do, and we're then going to try and bring that to the wider construction industry. So there we saw that things start in terms of the rebar with design, with doing designs in Tekla and structural calculations in Tekla design, etc., etc. A whole process of design iterations, bringing that together. That is then coordinated with using IFC. You'll note this is a nice distant view, so nobody can actually see what's going on here. So, it is a nuclear power station, so there's good reason for that. So, but what you heard him say is that they then coordinate these bits of work with the other consultants using IFC because they're all using different tools. Then they are selecting, so fantastic process going on there. They're just selecting items within the model that they've made, sending them off to the subcontractor. They come back onto site with a barcode around them, which says it's this, and then they go into prefabrication of the cassette of rebar, which is then lifted into place. So even though the stuff's manufactured at the site, it is a prefabrication process, actually. Very interesting. Then on site, they're using Trimble Connect, which is an offline tool, really important on a large site where you don't have internet connections all the time. They are using that to compare reality with the model. Is this right? And then track completion using this tool so that they can say, right, this is how far we've got at the moment. Now, the important thing here is at Hinkley, they are not using, except in very rare occasions, 2D at all. Nothing is presented as a 2D drawing because these are complex things. Some of this rebar is 40 mil in diameter, huge stuff, really steels in their own right. So then, I've got 4 minutes left, so I've got to go some. So then they are also then tracking all of the correctness, capturing in forms and data, what's happening on site. So all of those sign-offs and so on are all tracked using Field View, our site tool, again an offline tool. And then things are taken into the AIM world. So the client, so you can see this quote from Greg here, is taking that information and beginning to be able to track, as those pours are happening, they're getting reports back every 10 minutes that are reporting on how successfully this is going. So office and field reporting getting to the stage where it's almost live. So we're trying to then take this forward with that connected construction story. We did an Innovate UK project with them because they were saying, well, hang on a second, we've got Connect working well offline and we've got Field View as a tool. We need the two to work together. So we did a few years ago an Innovate UK project. So this is how does a large project like this begin to influence what we as a tech provider do. So we did the Innovate UK project with these partners, looking at making that link between the model and the forms of data that you are completing. So obviously you can view the model in Field View now in a way that you couldn't previously, and then this is, I think, the bit where it gets exciting. The data from the form that you are making can get pushed into an IFC property set. So it's beginning to be a way where you can capture all of that information in that future readable format. And so, where are we now with this? Well, we've taken this on now and we are actually implementing this. So watch this space. It's short-term roadmap stuff. So that's the pushing the data into the property set. So I finished 2 minutes early, but I'm going to just end by saying I would hope that there are lots of questions that will come out of this. The Trimble stand is on the far side. Come and talk to all of us. We've got people from different parts of the business. Come and talk to all of us about the bits where you feel there's some synergy with you. So I'm going to leave it at that.